Okay, last day I was discussing about the optical technology and the magnetic technology. So after the discussing about the input and output devices, so storage devices are having three technologies basically. So there are three kind of storages, right? When it comes to the storage, did I write that somewhere? No. Right, so let's take the storage devices. There are three kinds of storage devices. So these are actually secondary storage. Secondary storage, sometimes we call back-end storage. Why? Because it is supporting our main memory. Main memory is a temporary one which store data for significantly, it's a very low time, it store data and it is temporary. It's volatile. Volatile means depend on the power. When power is there, the storages will be there, but power is not there, then the storage will not be there. So the supporting storage or back-end storage or secondary storage, or sometimes called auxiliary memory. Auxiliary memory, all are about this secondary storages. Actually, there are three technologies. The first technology is magnetic. The devices like floppy disk, and a hard disk, tape drives, magnetic tape, are examples for magnetic disk. Still, we are using some magnetic technologies. And the optical technologies, the second category is optical. So what are the optical devices? CD, DVD, and Blu-ray. So these are, CD means compact disc, DISC, right? This is DISC, here DISK. The magnetic comes K. For magnetic, typically we use K, but for optical, typically we use C, SC. DVD is digital video disc. Initially it was digital video disc, later renamed as digital versatile disc. Why it was digital video disc? Initially it came with videos, but later it was it was reintroduced as versatile. Versatile means multiple tasks can be done using this kind of devices, so it's called versatile. That is optical. And the third category is electronic, or we can call solid state memories. So what are the solid state memories? Pen drives, memory cards, and you know SSD, hard disk, solid state device, or solid state device, SSD, hard disk. So these are categorized under solid state devices. So those are the three categories of storage devices. If you need, so you can write down, otherwise take a snapshot and that is enough. So I hope you can remember that I have discussed how hard disk work. So that is using this anima graph animation. So according to this anima graph animation, this shows a 3D view of how hard disk work. Actually, a hard disk has actuator inside the hard disk. There is an actuator. Actuator is like your arm, and these are like fingers. So this each finger, actually it's not finger, it's a read. It's each actuator arm. On top of the arm, so there is a read-write head. So actually, this read-write head is writing data into these platters. So here you can see there are 4 platters, 1, 2, 3, 4 platters. Both sides of platters can be used to store data, not just single side. So one interface is called surface. So inside, therefore they have 1, 2, 3, 4 platters and 8 interfaces, 8 surfaces. So 4 platters and 8 surfaces, and there will be 8 read-write heads. All read-write heads are simultaneously writing or reading from the disks. Actually, why it is happening? Because in each round, a single cylinder is accessed. What is a cylinder? Cylinder is basically, if you keep, like, let's think about a ring. If you place a ring there and another ring there, another ring there, another ring there, a set of rings together, it will create a cylinder. Similar to that, these set of surfaces, 8 surfaces are there. These 8 surfaces forming a cylinder. So if I show you a clear image of cylinder, in the hard disk, so this is what a cylinder is. I hope this image is clear. Here, so these read-write heads are writing into the cylinders. Cylinder means respective set of tracks. Tracks are actually, so you can see it's similar to the ground. Ground has tracks. When running, ground has tracks. Similar to that, in the hard disk also you have tracks. And tracks are vertical. Tracks are again divided into the sectors. So cylinder is this set of tracks in the different letters. That forms a cylinder, right? So the smallest unit in the hard disk is called sector. The smallest unit is in the hard disk. Smallest physical unit is in the hard disk is called sector, right? The smallest physical unit in the hard disk is called sector. But when you format a hard disk, you can combine multiple sectors and create the smallest file unit, which is known as cluster, right? These things are additional things in addition to this, right? Hard disk is divided to tracks and sectors. So hard disk is the, I'm just reminding. So if you need this again, what you can do is you can watch the video, and if you think these things are important, you can write down as a note, but I'm not going to give any note. So unless if it is very important, I'm not going to give you that note. But in the examination, these parts will be tested. Why I'm not giving a note? Because I said that this is only 1 hour class. In this 1 hour class, if I try to give you more notes, so your time will be over just by writing the notes. Therefore, I will minimize the notes. And so what you need to understand is this hard disk is created with platters. Platters has surfaces. Each surface has a read-write head. Each surface has a read-write head, which is connected to the actuator, through actuator arm. And hard disk is given power and the data, and there is a logic board to control the hard disk. So head is capable of reading and writing, and hard disk is rotating. Hard disk is rotating like a fixed number of times per minute. So that is called revolutions per minute. Revolutions per minute. It's not rounds per minute. The reason is, so if you take, so single surface, it is single round. Take a surface, take a round. A single surface is single round. But this is multiple surfaces. So because the first surface underneath the second surface, so the next surface underneath the fourth surface, then the fifth surface underneath sixth and seventh, eighth surface, there will be 8 surfaces. So in the 8 surfaces, this read-write heads parallelly accessing all the tracks related to these 8 surfaces. So we call it revolutions per second. It's not rounds per second, it's revolutions per second. It's rotating in that speed. So this is like, I think you know the cartoon. So there is a cartoon in, I don't know whether you're watching cartoons or not, but there is a cartoon called Giripura Atto or Philstone. In this Philstone cartoon, a bird is there. That bird is reading and writing a gramophone. So this is actually a cartoon, but just to remember you what is happening. The bird is moving its beak back and forth, and this is circulating, and this is circulating. Bird is moving its beak back and forth, so thereby it's accessing the entire surface. So this is what happening in the hard disk. The entire surface is accessed, because head is moving back and forth, and the platters are rotating in certain revolutions per minute. So basically it is 7,200 revolutions per minute, or it can be 9,000 revolutions per minute. These are some samples. This is called RPM in the short note. Hard disk. It is called RPM, right? Rounds revolutions per minute. So more the speed, so it can write and read data faster. So better if speed is high. But this is right. So then what is happening actually, this is type of magnetic disk. Just understand the hard disk, and then the remaining part will be easy. So what is happening, there are two magnetic status, north and south, and these two magnetic status will be transferred to the head, and head is magnetizing the platter. These two status represent 1 and 0 respectively. So what is happening, head is magnetizing. So you can see here, head is magnetizing the platter. So by magnetizing, it stores data into the platter. So that is what happening. So multi-platter writing process, actually it is parallelly writing to multiple platters. You can see using different heads. So that is the technology behind hard disk. That is magnetic technology. Use north-south status to store ones and zeros. So how CD works or how DVD works is also important, because that is optical technology. Under the optical technology, it uses light, actually speaking. So it uses a laser light. So this is layered view of CD. It has a label, it has a transparent layer, and it has a reflective aluminum layer and a lacquer coated layer. So this reflective layer can be, it's a metallic layer. It can be aluminum, it can be gold, or it can be platinum even. So depends on the material, the durability of the CD will depend. So more expensive materials are more durable than aluminum version. So there are a platinum version, the blue color one, so which is more durable than the aluminum version, and gold version even more durable than the aluminum version. But this gold and platinum versions are little, it's rare. Gold plated, platinum plated. So these ones are rare. So basically you have widely, you can see this, widely you can see aluminum ones. So what is happening when writing? What is happening when writing data into CDs? So magnetizing status, actually north south, side south north status. But when writing data, so what will happen when writing data, the laser bulb will be pointed to a rotating CD. CD is also rotating. DVD is also rotating. Blu-ray is also rotating. Hard disk is also rotating. So similar to that beak in the bird, similar to that, there is a head. So that is read-write head here also. Typically, writing head is powerful than the reading head. Reading head has low power laser, but writing head has high power laser. This laser is capable of burning the reflective aluminum layer. The laser is capable of burning the reflective aluminum layer. So what will happen when it is rotating? The laser beam will go and touch the aluminum layer or the reflective layer, and since this is a laser beam, it will melt that metal layer. So it will transfer to the polycarbonate transference layer, but it will go and hit the reflective layer. So what will happen, because of the heat and because of the light, so laser, so it melts. So it's not melting down because of this polycarbonate layer. The melted point will be recorded like a pith. You can see. So these are melted points. So unmelted or unburned places are called lands. So lands are unburned, pits are burned. So that is one way of representing that. But some people tell it burn dots, right? Burn dots as land, and so that depends, right? Pit and land. Here actually you can see another thing. So the burned one or the melted one is known as pit, and unmelted is land. So it can be other way too, right? Can be other way too. What will happen when? So this is what writing. When one comes, the laser bulb will light up. It will go and hit the CD, and it will be burnt. CD will be burnt. This when you read in. So based on the reflective or the reflection angle or the reflection time. So when it hit and come in the pit, it's a different time, different angle maybe. So when it hit and come into the land, so land is 0 basically. When you hit and come, so it is different. When you hit and come in a pit, it's different. That is how the reading happens. The laser light is not that much powerful. It is capable of acquiring the release signal. So it release signal and it will try to acquire it after certain amount of time. If based on the reflection angle or based on the reflection, you decide what to do. So what happen if your label or if your aluminum layer is damaged, the laser beam will go and pass the label even. So you will not be able to read that signal. That is what happening when label or this upper layer is harmed. What happened when the polycarbonate lower layer is harmed? Any idea? When upper layer is harmed, it will damage this reflective layer too. So the laser beam will be transferred directly to the, it will go outside. So it will not read the disk and it will not write the disk too. So what happened when the lower layer is damaged? Polycarbonate layer. Uda layer damage. When the upper layer is damaged, you can see the reflective layer is removed. So it won't read, it won't write. What happened when the lower layer is damaged? You know, when light traveling from one media to another media, there is something happening, right? Light to media, right? Light to media, maybe glass and air, let's say glass and air. So when it travels, it bends. When it travels a different media, so it bends, the light bends. You can see that is called refraction. It's not reflection, it's called refraction. So because it will be slower in the high density media. So when it comes from the slower low density light, and this is air and air to glass, so it will slow down. As a result, it will bend. Right? So when lower layer is damaged, this bending happens. Because if it hit directly 90 degrees directly, then it will not burn. Anshaka 90ට වැදුනොත් burn වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right? burn නෙමෙයි. Bend වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අංශක 90ට හරියටම light එක වැදුනොත් හැරෙන්නේ නැහැ. It will move directly, but so I think you know this physics, right? These are physics related things. Right. So okay, you can see there. This is one media and another media. So when the light hits, it refract. But when the light hit 90 degrees directly, it will not refract. You cannot see the refraction. It will slow down, but you cannot see the refraction. If it is angled, the refraction happens. When it is direct, so no visible refraction is there. Right? So based on this, depends on the index of refraction. In water, this is the refraction. In glass, the refraction will be more than this. You can see the bending angle is more than water. So I think now you can understand what is the physics behind this. Actually, what will happen when the low layer is damaged, the top layer is damaged, you know, it will not read, it will not write, because the refraction won't happen and reflection won't happen. Light will directly go outside without reflecting. But the lower layer is damaged, then there will be refraction. Lower layer damage, refraction. So upper layer damage, reflection will be stopped, but lower layer damage, the refraction will happen. So what happened? when the refraction happen, what will do? What will be the result? The result of the refraction is you DJ the CD. So let's say Amaradeva is singing a song. So maybe Amaradeva is telling something like this, maybe Hantanata Payanasada or something. I don't know whether it's Amaradeva song. So it's not right. It's not Amaradeva song. So maybe some others. So you can see the Balavela Piminila Ganudari Hantana Sini or something, right? So that when this refraction happen, it will be ba aware. Aravai meva hema ba be oh you no again sounds. So there will be, it will be DJed automatically when this happens, because it's refracting and reading somewhere else. So intended to read in order, but reading here and there. So I think you have heard of such. So when CD is damaged, so this can happen due to the refraction, right? Physics applied there. Anyway, so now you have a clear idea about how CD works, optical technology, and how magnetic technology works. No need to understand about the solid state technology. It's electronic medium of electronic way of storing data. So that is more reliable than the earlier two things, and also relatively very small. So relatively very small portable devices can be made with the solid state, because no moving parts, no rotating, no moving parts in the solid state memories. Okay, that is about it. And you have different technology to start learn. Actually, what is ROM, what is RW, and what is R? So I'll give that as well. If it is CD-ROM, it means compact disk read-only memory. Cannot write. But can read. That is simple. If it is CD plus or minus R, it can be plus R or minus R. Minus R is old, plus R is recent. So relatively less old. So this is CD recordable. Can write data once. Example, you can say empty CD or empty DVD. CD plus or minus RW is CD Ranil Wickramasinghe. It's not. CD RW means CD rewritable. CD rewritable. Can write many times and overwrite many times by overwriting. Can erase many times and write it. That is, these are not solid status, sorry, these are not solid status, these are compact disk standards. So I'll write down there. For DVD also these standards are there. It's there for CDs, DVDs. Blu-ray is a bit advanced technology where you can store large amount of data with high quality video. That is Blu-ray. Please write down the important points, then I'll move to the next. Let's go to the von Neumann architecture. Von Neumann, actually he's a person, scientist. In the computer history, we learn about that. Von Neumann, he was the one suggested about the stored program concept, right? Von Neumann, it's N-E, sorry, no, not that. This Von Neumann suggested stored program concept. So what is this? What is this stored program concept? Earlier days, if you want to get something done using the computer, what you have to do? You have to go in front of the computer, start coding and let computer know what you need, get it done. So that was the method used earlier days. So I'm repeating, when you want to get some task done, what do you have to do? So let's say you want to type a document, then you have to go inside your computer, tell computer what you want by writing some code. You are programming, and you are programming the computer to get your work done, and you use it and then come back. So when somebody else needs that, so the particular person will also have to go to the computer, code and explain what they need and get it done. So that was headache, because you have to rewrite the codes again and again. You have to rewrite the codes again and again to get something done. So one human suggested, no need to do that. You can store it. You can keep it in a memory, right? If your memory is not enough, maybe you can get some backend support also. But anyway, you can keep it in the memory and get the same thing done again and again using the same program. That is where the program is stored. So without recoding, without getting the task done by coding, always you store the program. For an example, think about pressure gun. I think you know about pressure gun, right? Pressure gun is used to spread like pressure gun. Actually, you know, hose can be connected to a pressure gun. This is for cleaning purpose. So each time when you want to clean, you have to connect the pressure gun to the power, then the other side of the pressure gun to water, then start cleaning. You have to do the task. Next time also you have to do the same task. Next time also you have to do the same task. These tasks are repetitive, but you have to do that again and again. Earlier days, computing was also this. When you want to do some task, you have to do it from the scratch beginning. But with the von Neumann suggestion, he said the programs can be stored and reused again and again to get the same task done. So once the task is done, it is automated. The next person can use the program and get it done. That is why Word is there. Word is a result of stored program concept. So the program is already written and it is stored. So we can reuse. We can use it again and again. So that is stored program. That is what he has suggested. And with his concept only, this kind of computer has come. So input devices, then the memory. Why? Because to store the program, then the backend storage, then output devices, then inside the processor also there is a cache and registers. These are also memories. So these memories help to store the program. So that is what von Neumann architecture is. And so stored program control, I said that input, output, memory, processor, ALU, CU. So we just discussed. So fetch execute cycle. So what is this? So what are these fetch execution cycles? So what are the registers? And what are the buses? Buses are basically the transport paths. And control unit is the unit which signal other devices. We just learned that last day or week before last week. And then the arithmetic and logical unit is the place where understand and execute, manipulate, calculate, logically compare or calculate the things that is happening inside the ALU. Control buses are sending the signals. What are the multi-core processors inside the processor? So there can be multiple processing units like dual core, quad core, hexacore, octa-core, deca-core. These are some examples. Inside a single chip, multiple processing units can be there. Okay, let's quickly go through the fetch cycle and also understand these components, how these work together. Fetch cycle means how instructions are executed. So let me use an animation to explain that. There are multiple animations. Let me Select one. You also can do these things to explain some process. So if you need to interactively create a demonstration, maybe this is not useful for your examination, but still you can just give a try. You can give a try. So these are some important points. Okay. So here you can see the internal view of processor logically. So it has registers. Registers are memory locations inside the processor. Processor capability and memory locations. So registers are memory location inside the processor. And you can see ALU and CU, there is also inside the processor. ALU is arithmetically and logically calculated, and control unit is basically understanding and also control other devices. It controls all the devices by sending control signals. It is not doing the control, but it's sending the control signals. Right? That is control unit. Actually, this side of window or this side of the animation is basically processor. And processor has internal buses. You can see these are parts. These parts are called buses. These buses can be used to send signals. And in between this is main memory. This is your stored program concept as a memory concept, because need to memorize. So let's take, this is your RAM or main memory. So the bus, there are 3 buses in between the main memory and computer. So these 3 buses: control bus, sending the control signal; data bus, sending and receiving data; address bus is sending address information. Actually, address means each memory cell has an address. You can see these 1, 2, 3 numbers. Each memory cell will have this kind of number. So that is called a memory address. Typically, this is represented using hexadecimal. Typically, make a hexadecimal or these memory addresses. Address means the memory location. Okay, what happens there? Here there are some terms. Take a screenshot and please write down somewhere, or take the screenshot after I write. That is also okay. PC is called program counter. CIR is called current instruction register. MAR, memory. MBR or MDR, memory buffer register. ACC is accumulator. Okay, so these category of registers are called special purpose registers. These categories, special purpose registers, and in addition to that, this R1, R2, Rn, or maybe R4, here you have 4. These are general purpose registers. Generally stores the data. Generally it stores data, so we call general purpose registers. Especially there is a special assigned function, that is special purpose registers. I'll quickly summarize what PC does. PC is count in the line. It is automatically incrementing by 1. Automatically incrementing by 1. I'm writing it here. Automatically incrementing by 1 in each cycle. That is your program counter. current instruction register store the currently running or currently executing instruction. Then run when instruction. The currently executing or currently running instruction will be recorded in current instruction register. Memory access or memory address register. Memory location to be accessed in next read or write operation. What is the next location to be accessed in the next read write operation is memory address register. Memory buffer register. In Hindi, you can say garam pani, garam masala, whatever, right? Whatever just cooked material. Or what is that? Memory buffer register. Buffer means just prepared. Okay. So maybe the data, I'll write like here. So now prepared, just now it's prepared. The data to be written in the next write operation or data which is just read. Then කියවපු data හරි ඊළඟට ලියන්න යන data. Accumulator will store results of accumulator will store results of ALU operation. Results of ALU operation will be stored in accumulator. These are special registers. Registers are memory locations inside the processor. Registers are memory locations inside the processor. Program counter is implementing automatically each round. Current instruction register is the currently running instruction, currently executing instruction. Memory address register is the location to be accessed in the next read write operation. Is memory address register. And then memory buffer register is the just read or immediate maybe data that is just read or data that is to be written in the next write-in operation. Accumulator is immediate result of ALU, immediate result of ALU. That is it. These are special purpose registers. So what is happening in the fetch cycle? What will happen in the fetch cycle? So this is, remember that this is a summary. So I'm not doing the theory class. This is a summary. So in the theory class, I have to explain this using 1 or 2 days. Okay, let me tell what will happen. So automatically PC is 1. PC is 1 means the next, you will access the instruction 1. Instruction 1 is this one, move R1 number 13. That is instruction 1. So what will happen? So you can see when I play this, right? You can see PC is copied to MAR. Why? MAR. MAR, what it holds? MAR holds here memory location to be accessed in the next read write operation. So in the next read write operation, memory location 1 will be accessed. That is this. So what? It is searching that address number 1, and control bus is sending a control signal. Data bus is bringing the data and keeping it in the just read location, that is MBR, and copied to the current instruction register as that is the current instruction for the next one. So understand this critical process. PC is copied to MAR, PC MAR got a copy, PC is copied to MAR. Then what? MAR is the next location to be accessed. That is location number 1. So address bus is searching for that address. Address bus go and search whether there is such address. Yes, there is. Then the control bus need to give the command. Hey, read from that location. Control bus is calling. Read from that location. So it is read after reading this data. So it will be actually transferred to the processor through the data bus, because control bus transfers the control signal, address bus transfer the addresses, memory addresses, and the data bus transferring data. So this will be transferred. Once transferred, control unit will understand that, right? Control unit, but before that, it will be copied to the memory buffer register. Then memory buffer. So just read or just to be read. Okay, memory buffer register. And meanwhile, see the PC is automatically incremented by 1. PC is automatically incremented by 1. So that is also happening. So please use this link. Right, everything will be there here in the description. So please go through this, not now. After the class, you can just go through that and play the animation and understand this clearly. Next. So control unit is reading that and try to understand what it tells. Move R1 number 13. R1, so should be populated with 13. That is the instruction. According to that, you can see 13 is populated, 13 is placed in R1. So control unit understand and advise that. Next. Instruction 2 will be read. 1, 2. That is move R2 6. Control bus send in the signal, address bus bring in, data bus bring in the data. Will be loaded to the MBR, memory buffer register, and copy to the CIR, current instruction register. And according to that, move R2 6. R2 is this. 6 is another memory address. So what will happen? Move R2 6. 6 is another memory address. So here PC is free now, but after reading that, you can see MAR is not the PC. So normally PC is copied to MAR, no, but this time you need to access number 6. That is this memory location. So to do that, 6 will be updated here, and then address by sending the signal, hey man, bring that. Sorry, this is address 2. A control bus is saying, hey man, bring that, and data bus brings data. So that is this 24. Immediately that 24 will be read to this R2. Since 24 is data, it will not be copied to CIR. CIR only has instruction 2. 2 wala thiyana me 6 wala thiyana data එක. So the data which is in number 6 will not be loaded. Okay, the next stage. So next stage is again update this to 3, then go and read the third instruction, add R1, R2, control bus goes and read it and bring to the data bus, that is instruction. So it will be copied to the current instruction register, that is instruction number 3, add R1, R2, that is ALU operation, why you need to add. So addition instruction will be sent to the ALU, and the immediate result is 37 will come back to the accumulator register, which store the immediate results. That is 37. The next 4 will be copied. Address bus search the address. Control bus send the advice. Data bus bring data. That is store 8. Store 8. So that will be understood by the control unit. That is called decoding. Fetching kiyane gannawa. Fetching is obtaining data from the memory. Decoding means understanding. So what it does, always the computer will fetch and decode, fetch and decode, fetch and decode. That is the computer's task. Go and read from the memory, understand it. Go and read from the memory, understand. Go and read from the memory, understand. Fetch, decode, fetch, decode. That is the results. So now you can see PC is 5, but 8 will be copied. Why? You need to store in 8. So 8 is the next write-in operation will happen in 8. So it will go and check through the address bus whether 8 available. Yes. The control bus in the data. Actually, data bus sends the data and the control bus confirm. Please write it. Please write it. And you can see the address number 8 is updated with 37, which is the answer. Finally. Instruction number 5 is ending. So once read, it will be ended. Okay, bye. So that's all. Right. So this is what happening in the computer. That is called fetch decode cycle. Earlier days in the free books, this was available. Now, I don't know whether you have received the free books. Another thing is, like now, okay, so let's do that next. Let's discuss that in the next day, right? Anyway, so now you have idea how fetch and decode cycle will work. So that is, they are listed in this note. Fetch, execute cycle. We just described. Just described about these things. The memory hierarchy. The memory hierarchy is the next part. Okay, volatile memory I discussed. Volatile memories are temporary. Registers, volatile memory. Cache memory inside the processor is a volatile memory. Main memory or the RAM, DRAM is a volatile memory. So registers are and cache memory is known as SRAM. Then main memory, these are DRAM type, SDRAM, DRAM. So these are volatile memories. Volatile means depends on the power. Others are non-volatile. Right? Out of these non-volatile memories, so ROM is very important. ROM is very important memory. So I'll give you one thing about this. So I think you have learned this in grade 10. If not, learn it now. Not this now. This is grade 10, right? This note is related to grade 10. Okay. See here, it's very important. Computer memory, primary, secondary. Computer memory is divided to primary, secondary. Secondary means this hard disk, CD, DVD, SSD, floppy disk, DVD, etc. Blu-ray, all are secondaries supporting. Primary, basically RAM and ROM are primary storage. RAM has SRAM, DRAM, static RAM, dynamic RAM. Static RAM is there inside the processor. Cache memories, registers are static RAMs. Those are fixed inside the processor. Dynamic RAMs, DRAMs, it's periodically refreshing again and again, refreshing again and again. So it refresh and keep its status. So what is this refresh? Periodically it change the content. So it refresh and keep that data. For an example, think that so there are two friends having two caps. Two friends having two caps. That is static. It's with them. It is expensive because two caps. So it takes more space because two caps. But it is fast as they have two caps. Each individual will have their cap. Okay, let's remove one cap from them. I'll give only one cap to them and I ask to change it. Quickly, very quickly. Maybe 50 times per second. 50 change 50 times per second. So those who are looking from the outside can see both are having caps. Why? Because the process is faster. So those who are looking from the outside will see both are having caps. But what is happening? It actually refreshes, periodically refreshes. Therefore, both will have the cap, but for limited amount of time. So they are rotating the cap. So the audience can see both are working. And ROM types. So there are different ROM types. The next category, ROM is the memory in the motherboard. So this is the ROM BIOS chip. That is small chip in the motherboard. You can see. It's a very small chip in the motherboard. That is ROM BIOS chip. Here, it's tiny, small chip. But this is also a memory in the motherboard. Things stored here are stored by the manufacturer. Nishpadakayama tama store kala thiyenne. Things stored here are stored by the manufacturer. PROM is programmable ROM. You can program it once. Mainly the companies will purchase ROM, these kind of ROMs from the ROM manufacturers. Let's say there is a ROM manufacturer called Phoenix. HP can purchase a ROM from Phoenix and write HP's instructions. HP is the manufacturer, so manufacturer buy Phoenix ROM and write HP instructions. So that is pre-ROM, programmable ROM. EPROM, erasable programmable ROM. The ROM is erasable. You can erase using UV light and it can be programmed again. So rarely used. Electronically erasable programmable, EEPROM, electronically erasable program. You can erase by plugging into a circuit. So that is a bit wider. You can remove the chip and plug it into another circuit port. And so mobile phones also this kind of coding is done sometimes ago. So the chip or the memory is removed, the new data written and again plugged it. So that is erasable, electronically erasable programmable ROM. And the final is flash ROM, which can be erased using a software. You can decide to erase read-only memory by the manufacturer and you can write your own version, but be careful, sometimes your computer may run into trouble. So don't change the manufacturer's software. But these ROMs are needed. Why flash ROMs, EEP ROMs are needed? Things are updating. Hardware components are updating day by day. It's not, so we are using computers at least for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years sometimes. We are using same computer. But the manufacturer has updated things related to the particular time period where the manufacturer has manufactured the computer. But it needs some hardware updates, so we need firmware or we need ROM updates. That's why the EEP ROMs and flash ROMs are. Actually, I think you have asked about the mobile phone reflashing. So what is happening there? Mobile phone has a ROM, read-only memory. It is already flashed by the manufacturer. Samsung has flashed Samsung mobile phone. Apple has flashed Apple mobile phone. And so already the company has flashed and written the operating system and data. So sometimes these are locked into some countries. To remove the country lock, in Sri Lanka, in some other countries, they are reflashing. Reflashing means removing the software and flashing it again. So these reflashable memories are there even in mobile phones. Even though that is illegal, some people are doing that. Okay, I think we have written all the important points related to memory and storage. So if you need, I can share grade 10 note as well, then you can just go through if you have not learned that in grade 10, so you can learn it now. And I hope that we have discussed about the volatility, we have discussed about different memories. Only thing that I couldn't give is the memory hierarchy. That is very short topic. I'll do that next day and only taking 5 minutes. Right, I'll do that next day. Okay, so then next week we can start this lesson, that is lesson number 3. Okay, Bhute, good night. See you next day.
Thank you, sir. Good night.
Night, night.